Hey there, Izzy here. In this video, I want to cover the 3 keys to getting good audio for your video. The 3 keys are, number 1, equipment. Number 2, placement. Number 3, monitoring. What I'm going to do in this video is just briefly cover each of these 3 areas to get you started when it comes to capturing great audio for your video. Let's get started by talking about equipment. I've said before that there are a lot of different microphones that people use for shooting video. You have lavalier microphones like the one that I'm wearing right now. These come in handy for video, of course, for a lot of reasons. You have handheld microphones, and then you have my favorite type of microphone in terms of audio quality. This is called a shotgun microphone, and the reason why I like them so much is because the audio quality is really high for the price point. So I like to use these whenever I can. Now let's just say hypothetically you're starting with a shotgun microphone. Which one should you get? Well, it depends on your price point. There are a lot of different varieties out there, different models, different brands. You really need to make that decision on your own based on your budget. And typically the more you spend, the better microphone you're going to get, so the better audio quality you're going to get. So it starts with the mic. Then from there, the audio signal goes into the microphone and it needs to get to the audio recording device. Usually that's going to be your camera, but the way that it gets there is using what's called an XLR cable. That's the next part in the equipment here. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Here, this is an XLR cable. You can tell it's an XLR cable because of the 3 pins. This is what you attach to your microphone and also to your audio recording device. Once the audio has gone into the microphone and through the XLR cable, at that point it needs to go into your recording device. Ideally, I like to use a video camera to record the audio with the video. And prosumer cameras and above have what are called XLR inputs on them that allows you to plug your XLR cable right into the camera itself. So now you're recording the video and the audio together. This is a best case scenario. Not every camera has XLR input, so at that point you might need to use other options. If your video camera does not have an XLR input, but it does have a mini mic input built into it, then one option is to use an adapter like this one. So this is from a company called Beachtech, and what it does is you can just plug your mic, your XLR cable directly into the adapter, and then the adapter has this little mini jack that goes into your video camera's mic input. So you're going from XLR cable to this little mini jack, and you get high quality audio recorded in your camera itself. If your video camera has no mic input, or if it has a mic input but the audio recording capabilities are really low with your video camera, then one thing you might want to consider is using a separate audio recorder to record the audio different from your video camera. So you use your video camera to record the video, and you use the audio recorder to record the audio, and then you'd have to mix it up later in post. This is an example of an audio recording device. It's a Zoom H4n. It's a pretty popular option because the quality is pretty high and it's fairly inexpensive compared to other devices out there. The way that it works is, obviously you're going to need to read the instruction manual to learn how to operate it, but you plug your XLR input directly into it, hit record, and now you're recording audio directly into the device itself. Now, using a separate device is by far my least favorite way to record audio, because then in post, you have to sync up the audio files with the video files, and it's an extra hassle. Even though there's software that makes it a lot easier these days, I still prefer to record the audio in camera with the video. The second key for recording great audio for video is placement. Where do you place the microphone? And the important thing here is proximity. You want the microphone close to the subject, but not too close. And for something like a shotgun microphone, usually that's going to mean that you have the shotgun microphone just outside the frame, and usually you're going to have it pointing down to the person's mouth or pointed towards the throat or heart or something like that. These are all great rules of thumb. Now, I want to show you my setup that I have right here. If we go ahead and tilt up, you can see that I have a shotgun microphone right outside the frame, and it's being held in place by a pistol grip, which is also a shock mount that helps reduce vibrations. That pistol grip is attached to a boom pole here, and a boom pole, of course, is something you can use to hold the microphone above the frame. And now the boom pole is held in place by a boom pole holder. This is a very useful device. It's held in place by a grip head on a C-stand. And of course, all of this, the C-stand plus the boom pole holder and the boom pole, that's all designed basically to replace a person, so it can be held just outside of the frame in exactly the right spot to be able to capture the best audio quality possible. The third key to capturing great audio for video is proper monitoring. Monitoring means that you're monitoring the audio signal to make sure that you're capturing great audio. And there's 2 ways to do this. The first way is visually using what's called a VU meter, a volume unit meter. That's what VU stands for. Sometimes people just refer to this as an audio meter. This is an example of a VU meter on my H4n, as you can see here. And what it's showing is the loudness of the audio that it's picking up. So the louder the audio, the higher that you see the VU meter go. And a few things you need to know about this is number one is you never, ever, ever want the audio to clip. That means that it goes all the way to the top of the meter, and that's when audio distorts. Sometimes you hear it also called overmodulating. So clipping really sounds bad, it ruins your audio. So you want it to be loud enough to where you're picking up a good clean signal, but not so loud that the audio clips at the very top. So a general rule of thumb is that you want it to average around negative 12 dB, and that's usually that's marked pretty clearly on the VU meter. And you want to average around negative 12 dB, and when it peaks, you want it to get up to maybe negative 6 or somewhere around there. But never, ever, ever all the way to the very top, which is 0. You never want it to get that high because that's clipping and it sounds bad and it ruins your audio. Using a VU meter is part 1 of monitoring audio. Part 2 is good old-fashioned headphones, like this. People say they don't want to wear headphones because they look funny in them, and that might be the case, that's fine. However, not wearing headphones is kind of crazy because it's sort of like shooting video without ever looking at the screen to see what it is you're recording. Doesn't make any sense at all, you have no idea. So in order to find out what you're recording, you gotta wear headphones. Now a couple things to know about headphones is you want to get something that covers your ear completely so it helps eliminate background noise, helps you focus on the signal itself. Also, you want to get headphones that aren't designed for listening to music, for example, like DJ-style headphones, because they typically add a lot of bass or they color the audio signal to make it sound better. You don't want something that's going to change the audio signal. You want something that's going to let you hear exactly what you're recording, so field recording type headphones like this are a good idea. Okay, so headphones are part 2. It's an absolute requirement when you're recording audio along with your video. Those are the 3 keys to know about audio for video. Number 1, the proper equipment. 2, proper placement, and 3, proper monitoring. Sure, there's a lot more you can know about audio, but if you do these 3 things very well, you're going to be well on your way to capturing great audio for your video. I hope you found this information helpful, and I'll see you next time on Izzy Video.